Hey everyone, welcome back to Fireyfemmes, where we talk about wealth, wellness, and womanhood, and what it really takes to build freedom in all three. Today's episode is a big one because we are going to be talking about the hidden cost of being a woman, the things we pay for financially and often emotionally that rarely show up in a spreadsheet. So, from unpaid labor to the literal cost of our hormones, this is the real pink tax, and it's costing women thousands and maybe even hundreds of thousands over a lifetime. Let's get into it. So, let's start with something simple but invisible: time. On average, women spend more than 60% more time on unpaid labor than men. Cooking, cleaning, caregiving, managing the mental load. It doesn't show up in our tax returns, but it's real work. The unpaid labor affects how much we earn, how fast we build wealth, and even how rested we are. When we finally sit down to make big life decisions like investing, switching jobs, or starting a business, when you're already stretched thin, it's hard to think long term. So now let's talk about the literal pink tax, the markup on everyday items. Women's products such as razors, shampoo, deodorant, even dry cleaning often cost 7 to 13% more than the male versions. We pay more to look presentable in workplaces that still subconsciously expect women to be polished, composed, and pleasant. And then there's health. From period care to contraception, fertility treatments, and perimenopause. Women spend on average between $10,000 to $15,000 or more over their lifetime on health-related expenses that men simply don't have. And that number is actually for a healthy woman with no issues whatsoever, where you don't have to visit the doctors. During perimenopause alone, a phase that can last up to a decade, women spend 7,000 US dollars per year. Per year. So this can be about 10,000 Australian dollars per year. And that's unprecedented costs. So this is per year on supplements, testing, and treatments just to make sure that we feel like ourselves again. Add to that the financial ripple effects of career interruptions, maternity leave, part-time transitions, caregiving for aging parents. Even 1 year out of the workforce can mean hundreds of thousands less in retirement savings by the age of 60. And yet, we're told to just negotiate harder or invest more aggressively, without acknowledging that the game itself has its built-in cost that we didn't design. But here's what's empowering. Awareness is the first investment. When we start seeing these hidden costs as data points, not personal failures, we can start designing systems around them. It might mean setting boundaries around unpaid work, automating finances to protect your future self, or even budgeting for your health as an essential investment, not a luxury. Because when you add it all up, your time, energy, health, and money, it becomes clear. The real wealth gap isn't just income. It's the invisible labor and the invisible expenses that compound quietly over time. And the more we talk about it, the harder it becomes to ignore. So if today's episode hit home, take a minute to audit your own hidden costs. Where are you paying more in time, money, or energy just to meet expectations? And what would it look like to reclaim even just 10% of that back for you? If you found this helpful, share it with a friend who's navigating her own version of the pink tax, because awareness compounds too, especially when women talk about money openly. Thanks for listening. I'm Sheena, and this is Fireyfemmes, where ambition meets freedom and we redefine what wealth really means.